All right, I'll shut the fuck up. Let's give away for Bro Love and the next run of Easy Punk's Thrash of the Titans. Release the Kraken!
Well, what the project is called Thrash of the Titans, and this Thrash of the Titans 2, it's the second one that we've done. The first one that we organized was in December of 2007, and essentially what it is a good friend of ours, Tom Reardon, who's an old punk rocker, local punk rocker from some bands like Hillbilly Devil Speak. He's in a band called The Father Figures right now. He came up with this idea where local musicians would sign up for certain instruments in a band, and then these names would be put in a hat. And somebody would pick one name out of each instrument, you know, vocals, guitar, bass, drums, and those names picked out of a hat would be put in a band. And from there, most of the, with these people that are picked out of a hat, most of the time these people have never even met each other before. So putting them in a band and having to create a band from the ground up in a span of like 2 months' time is a challenge in itself. And so with the Thrash of the Titans thing, we basically, we pick these band members out of a hat. We give them 2 months to organize a band under the umbrella of punk rock music, whatever they think punk rock music is. And the only criteria is that they have 30 minutes to write, they have to write a 30-minute set of original music, and they have to cover one song. And it doesn't matter what song it is, it just has to be one cover song. And basically, they have 2 months to organize their schedules, to create an entire, band from the ground up, and then they have to perform on one day. And at least with this time around, there were, the crowd kind of decides who they think the best band is. But to kind of touch on the way that everything is set up, I started trying to actively find people who are involved in local bands and, people who are just kind of general showgoers, music lovers, under the, people who go to punk rock shows out here. In February, I kind of sent out my tentacles and tried to get people to sign up for this Thrash of the Titans 2 thing. And basically, I had about 26 band members signed up for this project. And like I had said, we had put like 6 people in vocals, 6 people in bass playing, guitar, drums. And we pick one name out of each hat, and those people are set in a band. And then throughout this time we had this forum online where people could submit band names, whatever type of band names they want, whether they're offensive or just kind of like off the wall. And then these bands have to pick 3 names out of the band name hat, and they have to choose one band name. So the cool thing about the whole thing is that nobody, I don't decide who's in the bands. Fate, whoever runs the universe, they kind of decide who's in the, who's in these bands, and then from there they have 2 months to organize everything, and none, throughout this whole 2-month process, nobody knows what is going to actually come out in the end. Sometimes people don't work together very well. Sometimes, time schedules lapse, and there's not a lot of time for them to organize the bands. But the bottom line is that everybody who signs up has a slot on this specific date, and they have to play. Whether they show up is up to them, but there's a spot for them to play for 30 minutes. And we just had the second Thrash of the Titans in September, on September 25th, and it was a huge success. I mean, 5 bands out of 6 bands ended up playing. One of the bands ended up dropping out at the last minute, but there were 5 bands who played. The crowd was, there was probably about 60, 70 people in the crowd. So it was a really good, a lot of people showed up, real good turnout. And the bands had a blast. People were still kind of talking about it a couple days after. Some of the bands are still continuing to go on and play, just to continue having a good time with the experience with the whole Thrash of the Titans thing. So, yeah, it's a unique thing. It's not a general battle of the bands type of experience. I mean, it is a battle of the band show, but the fact that that these aren't general bands. These are musicians involved with local music, but they're being thrown together to kind of create a band from the ground up in a real small amount of time. And organizing a band in 2 months to play a 30-minute set, it sounds easy, but it's really not. It's really not. It's time-consuming. People involved they have families. They have their own time schedules. So it's really difficult to organize all of that in only a 2-month time period. But but seeing the outcome in the end at the final show, seeing how they honed their skills and their dedication to the project, to see it to the very end and play these this 20-30 minute set, just to see the excitement in their personalities and how excited they are to be on stage. Some of these people have never been on stage before at all. Some people are involved, are in local bands. Some people are actually just showgoers, who have always wanted to be in a band. So here they had an opportunity to be a vocalist, or play bass in a punk rock band. And so we kind of, we create that to sort of give that outlet to, it's sort of an alternative creative outlet. But the unique kind of angle of none of these people knowing each other, and nobody knowing what to expect when the show comes around. The bands are so involved with what it is that they're creating that they have no idea what the other bands are involved. And the people coming to the show, they all they know is the name of the bands, and some of the names of the bands just kind of like off the wall. So it's a really unique kind of battle of the bands, sort of.